Welcome back to another episode of TAAP. It's been a little bit, but I'm Chad.
Michael.
It's like I said, it's been a little bit, but the good news is we are in a new location.
We are.
Location that you, if you watched the episode on the Creedmoor, you saw a little bit. We were actually in that one. We were facing this way, or we're over there and then facing this way.
Yeah.
But we got this set up with a nice new table here for us.
Yep.
A lot more room and
a lot more room.
And able to mount cameras in different places. So
Yep.
it's hopefully it's going to work out well and was worth the wait.
I'm hoping.
But you and me both.
It was a lot of work.
It was, and you did the majority of it. So
yeah. Wiring and everything else. Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. So.
Yeah, so Michael had this studio built, and then he ran all the wiring for the mics, the cameras, the internet, the computers. But good news is we've got a nice space for when we can have some guests, which is hopefully going to be happening very soon.
Yes.
It's a nice, comfortable space, so we hope you enjoy it. Let's get to the show. A couple weeks ago we went to an event here at a local pew dealer.
We did.
They had some representatives there, and I got the itch.
Yes.
You almost got the itch. You were thinking about getting the itch, but you didn't quite do it.
That close.
And I picked up another Canik. You like my Canik, but they don't have the long running that some other manufacturers have that you like, and I think that's what's deterring you.
That is what's deterring me. But you have two Caniks.
Yes.
How many can you carry right now?
Well, I can carry two. I can put one on each hip.
But one is still has a spring issue.
Yeah. Which we did speak with the Canik representative, and he's supposed to be getting a spring out to me, so hopefully that'll be taken care of soon. But
to me, my opinion on it, that's a little too long. I don't know what the breakdown was, but that should have been, hey, I'm sorry, let's get on that right now.
Well, and to be fair, when I sent something, I was having some connection issues, so I don't know if it completely went through. Yeah. We'll see if the Canik representative gets something out to me. I should have grabbed his business card, which I forgot to do.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Good news is we also got some nice swag out of it.
Well, yeah, we got some
a couple
t-shirts.
T-shirts. And
neither one of them wore it. So.
Yeah, I should have worn mine for this, but
yeah.
You'll see it sometime soon. But I guess it's good that I didn't wear this one because it's on the back, but it's Papa Smurf holding two Caniks, and it says size matters.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, you didn't get that one.
I did not get that one. I got the other two.
Yeah.
So that'll be kind of cool. So.
All right. So, like I said, I got the itch, and Canik recently came out with something new.
Yep. Let me
get that centered there a little bit.
There she is. There's the box.
So we'll do a review of this, just very similar to when we reviewed the Meta. This is actually the slightly larger brother to that.
Okay.
It is the Canik MC9L. So
this is a different color.
Yeah, this one's it's not all black, which I like.
So their accessories match the color that.
Apparently they do.
Wow, that's called. Yeah, look at that. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
And with it, if you did watch our episode where we introduced the Meta,
I'm gonna turn this so I could kind of pop that up like that.
It's the same type of thing. You get a couple of different back straps with it that you can use to adjust, which I'll probably tinker with a little bit just to get a better fit to my hand. You get your cleaning tools, and then you get your little mini Canik that is your tool kit.
Right. So yeah, you got a lot of cool little tools in there.
Yeah.
All right.
And then if we flip this insert over.
See, this is much nicer. You could reach this.
Yeah.
Before when we were in there.
It was kind of juggling things.
Yeah.
They give you your safety indicator that I don't know anyone that uses those. Do you?
No. Those get thrown away.
They also give you your trigger lock, which, again, I think everyone throws away as soon as they open it.
Yeah, that's another thing that goes wayside really quick.
Yeah, it's if for no other reason, those trigger locks are so janky. And I don't know about you, but if I've got this, say, in my nightstand, I don't have to take a trigger lock off if someone's breaking into the house.
That's true. Now, here's the funny thing with this, too. You didn't have the key for the first one.
Right.
And we had to finagle how to get it off.
Had to rig something.
Yep. So, well, at least they gave you the key.
Yeah.
For this one.
You know what I'll probably do is I'll probably throw that key somewhere, like, I don't know, in my safe or something. That way, if I ever need one again because I don't get it, I'll have it.
Yeah.
So, the meat and potatoes of it, the actual firearm itself.
I'll move this over here.
Just like with the regular Mete, you get the holster. And again, it's a very comfortable holster. This one I decided to go with the two-tone flat dark earth and black.
So, and I'm going to hold it up just so you can see more of the color. So there it is, two-tone.
Yep.
I do like two-tone. I didn't know if I liked it before. It's starting to grow on me.
Yeah, I like that. I like the all flat dark earth as well.
Yeah.
And there were a couple when we were up there. They had a couple of them where they did like a black and gold on the MC9, the regular MC9.
Right.
Why are you bouncing this around?
I zoomed out. I was trying to get a better zoom on that camera. There we go.
All right.
Yep, that's what I wanted right there.
That's one of the downsides to getting a new studio and new equipment is it's learning how it all works.
Yep.
So, as far as this goes, like I said, it's the slightly bigger brother to the regular MC9, which I also happen to bring with me. Just for a little size comparison.
Now we have room, so I'm going to play with it here a little bit. I'm going to zoom out. We're going to see what we can do here.
Okay, so look about the same size.
Yeah. When you go toe-to-toe, it's the same barrel length.
Mm-hmm.
There's no difference there.
You know, barrels on each of them are 3.18 inches.
But this is where you see the difference right here.
Yep. So, as far as the specs on them, I'm going to give the specs for the MC9 first, and then I'll give the spec for the MC9L right after it. So weight, the MC9 comes in at 21.27 ounces. The MC9L, slightly heavier at 22.22 ounces.
Yep.
Overall length, MC9 is 6.1 ounces. The MC9L, again, slightly longer at 6.27 inches. Width, almost, it's essentially negligible. They're both just slightly over an inch wide. The MC9 is 1.12. The MC9L is 1.14. For the height, that's where you see the biggest difference. You have just shy of an inch difference. You've got 4.52 for the MC9 and 5.43 for the MC9L, which, yeah, that gives you a good, well, they kind of black out and look like shadows there like that.
Yep. When they're next to each other, they kind of do.
But if you do it this way, I think we might be able to...
Might show a little better.
Like that. That's where you're seeing the difference there is a little bit longer grip. Barrel capacity, or not barrel capacity, wow. Magazine capacity, this is where what really sold me on getting a gun that's almost the exact same. With the MC9, you get two magazines. One is a 12 round and one is a 15 round. And then you get +1 in the chamber. With the 9L, you get two 17 round mags +1 in the chamber.
Yeah, I saw.
So, to me, that means that if I only have two mags and I've got one in the chamber, I'm walking around with 35 rounds.
Yeah, that definitely has the capacity there.
Yeah. That can get you out of a lot of trouble if the shit hits the fan.
Right.
So otherwise, as far as what they come with, it's kind of identical. You get the 2 mags, you get the holster, you get the tools,
right.
You get the little gun that's your toolkit. So pretty much the same there. As far as features go, they both do have, and you can see it there, the chambered, or the, not the chambered, the hot indicator. That means that it's racked and ready to go. Get the same thing here on the 9L. They both do have the chambered indicator, which again is going to be right here. You can't really see that well, but it is.
I'm going to try and zoom in there a little bit.
I think you just can't see it well because it's black, but it's right here. There's a little knob that'll pop up.
Oh yeah, you see it right there.
There you can see it.
Yep.
So if you want to point to it while I hold it here, so I don't move.
Right here.
Yep. So, as far as other things, I haven't had these out side by side with each other, so I don't know if the trigger pulls are the same. I'm going to guess they are because I think it's pretty much the same trigger mechanism that they put in both. And Canik has very good triggers.
Right.
Of all the handguns that I've fired, I really like Canik, and I think they might be my top trigger just because it's 3.5 pounds.
Right.
Very smooth, quick reset to it, and it's just a good overall trigger. We've got our safe area all over here and back to Michael's right, along with my left. So anywhere we point these right now, pretty much, it's gonna be safe.
Yep.
So let's. A little bit of play, and then sticks, and then you get your break.
Okay.
And it's a nice smooth break.
Yeah.
And there it sticks, and then a nice smooth break. You wanna?
Let me see here. Yep, I can feel it click over. So, okay.
And I just want to get the reset on this one. Yeah, short little reset on that.
Okay.
See how it compares to the 9, because we both fired that a decent amount.
So this one has more rounds through it. So it's really hard to gauge the trigger pull when this one has been more used.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this one's pretty stiff still because it hasn't had that use and putting rounds through it.
Right.
But what do you think about the trigger pull on this versus the?
They feel very similar. They really do. I wouldn't say, and I have, just so I have it out here too.
He's the Glock fanboy,
Yep.
which I love Glocks as well.
So let's go to the table here. Oh, see, that's what happens when I hit the home button.
Well, don't hit the home button.
Yeah, I can't hit the home button. While we're here, you can see there's Mikey. So when we say the safe area, that's his setup over there. So you can see he's over in that corner. That way you can see right next to Chad. So when he's saying over here, it's clear over there. There's nothing over there. And when you look over here, there's nothing over on this side either.
Yeah,
no one's over there.
Put a hole in the wall.
Yeah. I don't want to put a hole in my wall.
No,
but
we just did this, but.
So if I zoom in here, now I got my Glock out there as well. So we got all three of them right there. Now mine, I use an aftermarket holster, just standard.
Well, because Glock doesn't give you a holster with it. So.
Yeah, they do. I got a holster with mine.
I don't think I've ever gotten a Glock that came with a holster.
I got a Glock holster. They used to. Don't do it anymore. So this is a Glock. It's cleared. I don't even have a magazine in there. Yeah, the trigger pull's quite a bit different on this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know you have one too, but
yeah, definitely a heavier trigger pull.
a lot heavier.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a Gen 1, Gen 2?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't even have the sign rails on that.
Well, you know what else is you've got a much longer reset on this.
I do. I do. Custom trigger. I did work on this. So, yeah. That's what we're having there. So,
but you also like the heavier trigger.
I do. I do. So people say a gun's a gun, or, you know, I will tell you, you can't go wrong with any of these on the table.
No.
The best kind of gun to have is the gun you're comfortable with.
Right.
Yep. And you're really comfortable with Canik.
I am. I like them. I've got several Glocks as well, and don't get me wrong, I like my Glocks. In fact, up until recently, that was my EDC, was my Glock 40 caliber.
Okay.
Since I picked this up, it'll probably become my EDC. I want to monkey with it some and make sure that it's comfortable. Do all those things that you should do when you get a new firearm, or even when you're going back to something and making it your EDC after a while. Getting comfortable with how it fits on you, whether it's your hip, a shoulder rig, ankle, however you're carrying it.
Right.
You know, making sure that you know how it functions, because even though they're the same, they still function slightly differently as far as, you know, some things on them. Now, I've been carrying the MC9 up until I ran into a slight issue with it. But yeah, getting used to carrying a different gun, I'm a big fan of that. I will say the one gripe that I have, and it's about both of these, is if we can go back to the display here. I don't like the sights that they use. They use a completely blacked out rear sight and then a white dot on the front sight.
Yeah, you can't even see the back end.
No. I would much rather...
I can see the red part, but if you look at mine...
You've got the 3 white dots, which
yep.
I'm not a huge fan of Glock doing that either, but I would like... What I would really like is a white, and a red in the center.
Yeah. Oh, this one has the same
it's
one.
The exact same. That's probably my biggest gripe with the Caniks is I don't care for their sights. Biggest gripe number 2, because I'm a big fan of having extra mags.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other one.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, these two are exactly the same because they're both 17 round.
Okay.
Yep. The difference is on the MC9, not the L, you get the 2 different sized mags. So you get the one that's extended to take 15 and then the regular 12. Now, I don't know. I've not tried this, and we'll see what happens. Well, look at that. I could. It's a bit wonky, but...
That doesn't surprise me, because I know with a lot of the Glocks that does the same thing.
Yeah.
So these magazines feed into this one.
Yep.
And if you look at it, even if I take a look at it, the two...
They're shaped the same. They're set up the same.
It's almost identical. So, now I know it's a little harder here to see. We are working on getting maybe a overhead light that's going to cover our table here when we're doing a little bit more of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that will help as well with a lot of stuff. We're
also looking at getting a tripod set up so we can have a camera that's directly overhead and get rid of some of that glare as well.
Yeah, we're this is the debut episode of this show.
This is the debut episode of anything in this studio.
Yeah, this is the first time we've recorded with
it
everything
complete.
up.
Yeah. We did the one where it was partially complete.
Yep.
Where we had the framing and the insulation up, and then we did this one after it's complete.
Yeah. So there's a little tweaks that we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to kind of run a show and see what it does, and go from there. So
now get to the kind of the the end of things, first impression of the MC9L.
We're talking here, right?
Yes.
So, this one, I'll be honest, I almost think I like it better than the Meta.
Well, they're both MC9 Meta, however they want to pronounce it. This one's just the L, which essentially stands for longer, from what I understand.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, it's just, like I said, a slightly larger brother than this.
Okay.
I love the way this one feels when I carry it. Definitely really like the way this one feels as well.
Okay.
To me, I think maybe depending on where I'm going and what I'm doing, that may determine which one I carry. They both have this really good grip on the handles, and then a little bit of grip there for your thumb placement. Nice thing about this one is you do have a longer handle, so you get some of that better grip. On the regular MC9, they do put it on the mag extension itself, and then on this little drop down for your finger.
Little sliver there.
But I just like knowing that you got that extra grip for holding on to it. And I like that I have more rounds.
Yeah, see, what you're talking about here is because you're really talking about the difference in the length right here.
Right.
That's really the only difference here that I've noticed.
A little bit more weight, a little bit longer in and of itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, the differences are negligible. I mean, less than an ounce in weight, 0.17 inches in length.
Yep.
0.01 in width. So it's all the same until you get to from here down.
Yep. Now, there are some people that, and I call it the floater. So if you notice, my pinky's floating on this.
Well, if you put this in, you won't float.
I gotta put it in the right way.
Yeah.
I'm doing everything backwards here. If you notice, I'm like right on the edge.
Yeah.
Now, if you have bigger hands, this may feel too small.
Mm-hmm.
So you may want, hand size makes a difference.
Yep. And that's one thing that I recommend anytime you're looking to purchase a firearm. Here, try this one. That'll give you, I think that one's a little bit deeper to.
Is it?
Yeah. One thing I always recommend to people when they're looking at going and purchasing a firearm is, one, go to a place that's reputable.
Yeah.
Two, if they're not going to let you hold it and dry fire it to see what the trigger pull is like, see how it feels in your hand.
Yeah.
Turn around and walk away. I will tell you that both places that I got these, did get them from two different places. Both were very good about letting us handle the firearm, letting us dry fire it to see how the trigger pull is.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, the one thing I will say is I do have to go to where I got this. Granted, the place was packed, but which I think is even more of an issue.
They had a Canik guy there, and they was busy.
It was, and they were selling a lot of firearms.
They were packed.
I had to wait in line to get my paperwork done for this.
Right.
And we got there pretty early. I mean, it wasn't right when they opened, but it was still well early into it.
Right.
But my biggest issue with that place, and like I said, I'm going to go back and talk to a manager there because I do like them. They are the area's biggest Canik dealer, from what I understand.
Right.
And they get a lot of the specialty Caniks, which I think sometime, I'm probably not going to buy all of them, but sometime if I can find some good images of them, show some of those specialty Caniks. They do have some real nice ones.
Right.
But my biggest issue was the guy that was helping me, who he was an older gentleman, which to me almost says he should have definitely known better. He flashed me, I don't know how many times.
Yeah.
When we were at the counter. Now, granted, I knew it was unloaded, but you still treat it. First rule: you treat every firearm like it's loaded.
Right. Right.
Flashed me. He flashed several other people. I'm sure he probably flashed you once or twice at least.
He did. I knew it was unloaded because I did see it unload.
Mm-hmm.
God.
But yeah, at one point he had it pointed right at my belly.
Yeah.
And it would have been
you kind of pushed it.
I did he had it pointed at me. I'm just going to hold it here so it's not pointing at either of us. And I just kind of reached over and said, let's point it this way.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. He's a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think he might have just been flustered because of how busy they were, which isn't, in my book, still isn't an excuse, but I can see where it maybe was coming from.
So I don't like to point a firearm at another person unless I'm going through it.
To end them.
Or unless, now, if we're doing training and we're doing stuff and I'm going to say, well, okay, I'm going to point this at you, hey, okay, we're empty, but as I point this at you, I want you to do this maneuver for it. There's difference when training and you're looking at it and you're going, yep, there's no way that's going to go off. We're both on the same page. This is what we're going to do. But if you work in a shop like that, you should be overly cautious on that. And he was not overly cautious.
And if for no other reason, you should be displaying those good skills.
Right.
Because you don't know how much the person you're showing this firearm to knows.
Yeah.
I mean, what's to say they're not, and I've seen videos of this happening where idiot takes the firearm, and I'm not going to do this with it, but they take the firearm and they point it at their buddy, and next thing you know, boom. Or there was one that I saw where he took it and acted like he was going to shoot himself in the head, and boom.
Yep.
You don't take those simple things for granted. And if you're working at the shop, you're right, you should be extra careful because you don't know the experience and the skill level of the person that you're showing that firearm to.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that. It's just slides right in.
I love it when it slides right in.
Pointing it up here.
There's no one above us either. So.
Yeah, there's no one above us. I like the shop. Mm-hmm. He was the only person I had an issue with.
Yep.
And I think I've been up there a few times and I haven't seen him in there before.
I have.
Have you?
Yep. Yeah, I've seen him. I think I've been up there 5 or 6 times, and I've probably seen him 3 or 4 of them.
So I was going to say maybe they just called him in and he's some guy that was just helping out, but that might not be the case.
No.
All right.
So I think we both like it. What I'm really looking forward to do is once I get the new spring for us going to the range and firing them side by side. Because the one thing I haven't checked yet, it sticks in there nice and tight too, is...
I like it when it's nice and tight.
Yeah, me too. I think this might have a slightly higher bore axis. You tell me when you look at it that way. There's that one. And we'll hold this one the same way.
Oh, yeah. Just slightly. So...
Well, I can't see on this side, but I can see where your finger was. Okay, and then now take the other one. Yeah, just slightly, which...
Just barely. It's hardly...
To most people, that may not mean anything.
Most people won't even notice.
Right. Now, the reason I like to check that is that means this is probably going to be just a little bit more snappy than this one. Because the higher you get this bore axis up, and what we're talking about is how the slide fits above your hand.
Right.
So this, when you fire, is going to reciprocate and kick back and then launch forward.
Right.
And that is going to cause the recoil.
Right.
And if this is higher, that force is going to be magnified. Think of if you're holding something and you're holding it here close to your body versus holding it out.
Right. Now,
so is it going to be real big difference? I don't know, but that's part of why I want to fire them side by side too.
Yeah, I would like to see them fired. I'm wondering if that's going to be mitigated by the length of the...
It could be.
Because with this one being a little bigger and a little more grip on there, you can afford, if this was as high as this one, this would be really snappy.
Right.
And that could be a big problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially if you have smaller hands or you're more petite.
Right. So even when I'm looking at my Glock, and this is a Glock 19, I fit that, and even there, if you see the low profile there that Glocks have,
and that's probably got about the same height on the bore axis as this.
I think it might be a little smaller. Yeah. See how there's a lot more room there as opposed to here.
I'm looking at where your finger runs here compared to the slide.
Oh, okay.
So you've got about the same there. Now,
Pretty
I think the
close.
Glock is probably a little bit heavier, too.
Oh,
so,
yeah, the Glock is a little heavier.
Weight is going to also mitigate that recoil.
Correct.
Which could be something with this, especially when you have a full mag in there, is you've got at least 2 extra rounds in it, if not 5.
Right.
So
it's going to be kind of interesting.
Yep.
So I'm interested to see the difference on how they shoot. And
so am I. That's going to be my big thing, and that's why I don't mind having 2 of them that are so similar. I'm normally not a fan of having essentially 2 identicals, but
I am. I like buying in pairs.
But in this case, I think it's going to be worth it because I can definitely see where I'll maybe want to go a little bit smaller and a little bit lighter, even though it's really negligible, versus something that carries more.
So main hand, off hand, we get you in a Deadpool mask,
Yeah,
get you on the range, and you can shoot them both at the same time. Double fist it.
Except for this one to run out first.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Unless we threw one of these mags in it.
Well, yeah, we could do that. And we can just see how they go. And then if I toss a couple magazines, can you get those?
Jump up, backflip, catch them in the air, and
yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
I want to see you do a backflip.
You want to see me break my neck?
That'll probably. You and me trying to do a backflip was gonna probably break one of our necks.
All right, so just some as we wrap up here, just some information on some upcoming episodes. Going to talk about a lawsuit that just came down yesterday. Involving SIG. If you haven't heard it, this is it caused me to lose a good bit of faith in SIG. I don't personally own a SIG yet. I had it on my list as one of my next purchases, and I'm rethinking that a little bit after this. Also,
SIG is a big name.
And they're
very reliable.
Yeah, you put SIG up there with Glock when you're talking about name recognition, reliability, just kind of the whole package. I think they kind of, in a lot of people's minds, as long as they know both companies, they kind of run neck and neck.
Right.
SIG has a huge military contract now. They've got contracts with a lot of law enforcement agencies.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
I can't wait.
Which I did find out some differences between the SIG models for military versus civilian and law enforcement, which might shock you a little bit because they're not the same. Also looking at having a couple of guests, some friends of ours.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at helping them figure out what's going to be a good carry weapon for them, especially his wife, because she doesn't have any real exposure to firearms.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'll be a fun series of episodes. I think we'll probably break that up into, I don't know, I'm thinking we may end up hitting 6 episodes just on that whole process.
We might.
Maybe even more, depending, but good news is we also may get into some outdoor range, weather permitting. We're getting late into the year here.
Yeah.
It's getting to the end of November, so...
Indoor ranges is where we're going to be.
Well, except for the problem with indoor ranges is you have to worry about the other people there, and it gets loud, so...
And the lights.
Yeah, and the lights, and... Yep. We don't have, either way, we won't have all the nice cameras that we have here, but hopefully, if nothing else, we can get a little bit of outdoor range, because if we do, I'm taking the 6.5 up to just shoot that some too.
Right. That might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think that does it for us.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and we're glad to be back.
Nothing was shot?
No.
No cleaning?
No cleaning.
Woohoo. All right.
All right.
Make sure you... aim straight, shoot straight.
Yep. All right, we'll see you next time.
See you next time.